There are different focuses that you can have for activity scheduling. You can think about time period that's more important to the client. Some clients really have a problem with evening hours. That's when they get really depressed. So it might be a good idea for these clients to schedule their evening hours for them. There's also different activity types, and ideally the client would want to do a little bit of each type. There are self-care activities like showering, brushing their teeth, getting dressed. There are fun activities, and there are learning activities like going to school, taking a class, and then there are meaningful activities like spending time with their family and friends. We also use the chaining activity here for how activities affect mood, and you do it exactly like the way that we showed you in the thoughts module. So you start with 5, which is always a statement of fact of something that happened. So let's say in this case, the fact is that they were laid off from their job. So then you ask them, okay, what's an activity you could do or not do that could make you feel worse? So it's different from the thoughts module because you were asking them, what thought would you have that could make you feel a little bit worse? But here we're in the activities module, so you're asking them what activity could you do or choose to not do that could make you feel worse. So the client could say something like, okay, I could just stay at home all day. That's something that I could end up doing that makes me feel worse. And then after you go through 4 to 1, just like we did for the thoughts module, you would go back up. So say, okay, let's go back to the statement of fact. You were laid off from your job. Let's think about an activity you could do or choose to not do that could make you feel a little bit better. So the client could say, okay, well, I could take a walk with my dog and enjoy the fact that I have a few days off before my next job. You say, okay, let's put that on number 6. What's something else that could make you feel even a little bit better than that? And they say, okay, well, I could maybe pick up a newspaper on the way to my walk and look through the want ads and see if there's another job for me. It's like, okay, that's great. And then so you go from there. And then you go through the rationale just like you did in the thoughts module where you say, do you see that there are activities that you can choose to do that will make you feel worse, but also there are activities that you can choose to do that will make you feel better given the same situation, and help them to see that link. In session 3, you're helping them to overcome obstacles to doing healthy activities. Here I have a sample worksheet from page 66 of activities. So it's really important for them to start learning how to balance their activities, how they spend their time, responsibilities versus things that they like to do for themselves. And on page 67 of activities, there's a chart that helps them to balance all these different activities. And it says most people feel best when they balance their time among all types of activities. They take care of themselves and their families, work, have fun, learn, and do things that are meaningful for them. So you go through this scale and you try to find something that would fit into each box. And this is something that you can do with a client in session or you can assign as homework as well. Another important skill that we teach the clients are something what's called predicting pleasure. A common problem for people who are depressed is that even before they do an activity, they won't think it's enjoyable. So this is kind of back to that negative fortune telling we talked about in the thoughts module. So what you really want to do is have them pick an activity and have them rate how much they think they will enjoy the activity before they do it, and then after they do the activity, have them rate their mood again. And usually what clients find is that they always end up thinking that they're going to do, they're not going to be very happy once they do the activity, or that they're not going to enjoy it quite as much as they actually do. And even if they don't, that's good evidence too, because you can say, okay, maybe this activity isn't something that actually makes you feel good. So let's think about another activity that might actually improve your mood. So it's just good data either way. Again, CBT is all about gathering data, being scientific, and really helping to become your own detective and your own therapist. And so even if the things don't work out, and they choose an activity that they end up not liking, that's okay, because that's data, that's evidence, and that's something that maybe shouldn't be on their list of activities to help them elevate their mood. So here we are at the last session of the behavior module, session 4, doing activities to shape your future. This is a goal setting session, and it's really helpful for clients who don't find meaningfulness in their lives anymore or have suicidal ideation. It helps them have something to look forward to again. So why should a client set goals? Well, setting goals helps them to identify things that they can look forward to. It helps them build self-efficacy and self-confidence by being able to work toward bigger goals in small, achievable steps. And again, it helps the client to identify meaningfulness in their lives. So this is a series of charts from page 95 of activities. You have them state a long-term goal and then a short-term goal. So to achieve the long-term goal, they need to set a short-term goal that will help them get there. And then you have them write down the specific steps to reach their short-term goal. So just like activity scheduling, the more specific you get, the more likely they are to do it. So when are they going to begin? What are they going to do? And how much or how little will they do it? And where will they do it? And what method or the steps are they going to take to do it? And finally, you want to help them to celebrate. Give them reinforcement for reaching their short-term goal as well as their long-term goal. So have them state something that's rewarding to them to celebrate. So I will celebrate reaching my short-term goal by, what will they do? Maybe they will go out with their family, maybe they will have a celebration dinner, and then you have them have something to celebrate for when they reach their long-term goal. So the same thing there. I wanted to overview the activities module really quickly before we move on to the final module. In the activities module, once you're done with it, you would like to review with the clients the key exercises. So there's activity scheduling, chaining, pleasure predicting, and setting goals. You want to address potential obstacles just like you did at the end of the thoughts module. And you want to ask for feedback. What worked for the client and what messages will they take away? So basically at the end of every module, you will review that module with the client as a whole overview. But you also want to review with them at the end of every session. Say 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the session, you want to give them some time to digest what they learned today, review what you did, and ask them for feedback. So this outline is actually something that you should think about to use at the end of every session. Now let's look at Module 3, People, Interactions, and Depression. There are 4 sessions here just like the other 2 modules. In session 1, you want to help them to learn how people interactions and their mood are connected. So just like the other sessions in thoughts and behaviors, all of the first sessions are really aimed to help them to see that link that forms a CBT model. In session 2, you help them to learn what gets in the way of having good relationships. In session 3, you teach them good skills for communication. And in session 4, you help them develop new skills to improve their relationships and their mood. In session 1, you help them learn that people interactions and moods are connected. So you help them show that depression can lead to few and negative people interactions and it creates a cycle, but healthy people interactions creates a positive cycle of improved mood. In the interactions module, we also have the chaining activity. Again, this is an activity that's used and highlighted in all 3 modules. So you always start with number 5, a statement of fact. So let's say the statement of fact here is that they're going through a divorce. And then you say, what is a people interaction that you could have or not have that could make you feel worse? So you can see that it parallels all of the other ones in the other modules. In the thoughts module, you're asking them, what is a thought that you could have that could make you feel worse? In the activities module, you're asking them, what activity could you do or not do that makes you feel worse? And because now we're in the people interactions module, the question you're asking is, what kind of people interaction could you have or not have that could make you feel worse or make you feel better? And after they go through 4 to 1, you do the same thing with things that could make them feel better from 6 to 9. And then you show them how, even with the same fact, same situation that happened, they can choose to have a people interaction that makes them feel worse, or they can choose one that makes them feel better.